All right, kids, here we are again. This is the Lobbycast, episode 375. We are here once again, or by we, I mean I, flying solo, your host, Erin, bringing you a little bit of news, a little bit of nerd stuff, a little bit of weekly watches. So hopefully you'll learn something, or at least, be a little bit entertained for a few minutes. Um, well, first of all, let's start off with the news and let's see what happened this week. Nothing, I don't believe, terribly tragic. I hope I'm didn't miss anything. So, but in that regard, let's kick it off. Let's get the sad stuff out of the way first. Once again, talking about the huge loss of Prince. There are some more rumors coming in about what may have caused his death, and I'm still not comfortable talking about it yet because they haven't finished everything up with toxicologies and gotten all the information in. Another tidbit, though, that did come out, however, apparently Prince did not leave a will. And despite the fact that he had no children, he apparently had quite a few dependents. According to his sister and several half siblings, apparently he was kind of supporting most of his family. So there's been some, legal back and forth about what to do until the estate is settled. And apparently, somebody that stepped up to help Prince's family was comedian George Lopez. Apparently, they were very close friends, and George Lopez so far has put $20,000 out for Prince's family to keep them afloat until this legal wrangling is done so they can figure out who's getting what and what his siblings are going to do because of his untimely death. So George really stepping up for his friend's family and making sure that they're taken care of. So sounds like he's a pretty good guy. Good for him. In other entertainment news, hopefully more happy, less depressing stuff, they have named a few people this week as far as who's going to be playing what in upcoming Nerdfest movies. Now, as far as the new Star Wars series are going to go, there has been a lot of talk about who was going to play young Han Solo, and that question was finally answered this week. For not for the first time on this podcast, I'm going to be saying I hope I pronounce this right, and please forgive me if I don't. But the gentleman that is going to be stepping into the fray as young Han Solo is, check my notes here, Alden Ehrenreich. Now, he is best known for his work in Beautiful Creatures and more recently some other movies like Stoker. And he's a very interesting actor, so I'll be really interested to see what he's going to do with this role. And it's a very iconic one, so he's got some big shoes to fill. So very big roguish boots to wear here, so we all wish him luck with that. But given his work in things like Hail Caesar and some other movies, I'm sure he'll be able to just kill it. So good luck to you, sir. Now we also have another little, movie news on the horizon. And again, for the second time during this podcast, I'm going to have to say, I really hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. I recognize his handsome face very well, but his name is Joe Manganiello. Here's hoping I said that right. Now, the news involving this very well-regarded actor, I believe, is the fact that he got the green light to do a movie about rock band The Smiths, and he got it from none other than Morrissey himself. So this is big news for people like me that are fans of The Smiths, that we've kind of been wanting something like this for a while, especially since we discussed last week how the Freddie Mercury biopic is off the table. Maybe this will be something to kind of fill that need for a little while. And the fact that Morrissey himself, who has been resisting that idea for a long time, signed off on it is very, very cool. So we're all very happy about this. So good luck to you as well, sir. Now, in other news, this is more music news. A good bit of news hit us today, or earlier today, actually. Radiohead will be releasing their first album for the first album since 2011, I believe. And the digital copy will be hitting first. That is going to be available on the 8th, which is going to be tomorrow, actually. And then you can get, I believe, the hard copy June 17th, if that's more your thing. But the video, I believe the first video is going to be available. Yes, the Daydreaming video is going to be out, I believe, also this weekend in just a couple of days, maybe Sunday or Monday. So good news from that front. We've been wanting that for a few years, and we're finally getting it. So thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Now, next up, for some TV news, Supergirl. For those of you that watch that show, I'm not one of them, but host Jeff is has been looking at that show occasionally, and apparently they're a little up in the air about whether or not it's going to be renewed right now. Now, apparently, the cost of producing the show is what has gotten a little prohibitive. However, for those of you that are fans of Supergirl, there are, maybe it'll be renewed, maybe it won't be. If it's CBS does not renew the show, there's some another maybe in there for the CW picking up the show and the cost of making it. So I get that that's a lot of maybes, but that's about all I have to work with right now. So keep fans of the show, keep your fingers crossed for some definite answers and for a continuation there. So good luck to you on that. Now, I think next, of course, we have to talk about some big news with Game of Thrones. There will be a little bit of a spoiler thing here. So if you haven't seen the show yet, plug your ears, and I'll do this when we're done talking about it. So I'll give you a second to walk away, get a soda, drink coffee. Okay, everybody ready? All right. Now the big news, it's on the cover of Entertainment Magazine. They did a special issue about it, and the internet's blowing up, ending months of debate. Jon Snow is alive. And fans of Game of Thrones were celebrating in the streets. I think the internet kind of exploded. There's been so much debate about whether or not this was going to happen. I remember, and I don't even really watch this show regularly, but even I was aware that there was a lot of buzz about this, and the littlest thing could set it off and send people into a frenzy again. A few months ago, several people noted that actor John Harrington had his hair still. He hadn't gotten rid of the Jon Snow look, and that set off more debate about whether or not, oh gosh, is he dead? Is he not? So I know there's a lot of happy Game of Thrones fans out there today. I'm thrilled for you, and hopefully he can stay alive this time, because that seems to be a hard thing to do on that show, staying alive in George R.R. Martin's world. So, all right. Anybody that went to get a soda, we're done. Spoiler over. You can take your fingers out of your ears now. We all back? Good. Glad to see you. All right. Well, I think that about wraps up what we, a lot of the big, fortunately, I don't think, like I said, I don't think anything else blew up this week. Let's hope it stays that way. Knocking on wood, please. 2016 by George R.R. Martin. Stop. We're fine with nothing else happening. Boring is good. Really. But with that, we'll move on to the weekly watches, okay? I'm not going to go into anything with listening or playing really this week, because it's just been a lot of shuffle, all the same podcast. I did listen to the Cracked podcast, which is entertaining as always. They're up for a Webby Award, actually. I guess that could be a bit of news, or what you're listening to. So there you go. We covered that. But they're up for a Webby Award, so we'll wait to see where that goes, and congratulations to you guys on the nomination. Good job. But as far as a lot of watches this week, they're going to be what I was watching, because there was a lot of stuff to watch this week. There was Civil War. Amazing. That universe just keeps going and going. I had some documentaries. There was TV shows that came back on the air. Watched some old favorites, so we'll get into that. Now, as far as TV shows, I'm still enjoying the new season of Disappeared. This is, as I mentioned previously, a show on Investigation Discovery that had been on the air for 5 seasons, I believe, and then was canceled. And there was a lot of uproar on the internet about that. That show seemed to have a pretty hardcore base of fans, myself included, so we're all glad to see it back, and they're still doing some interesting work. So thank you, Investigation Discovery, for listening to the people and bringing back one of our favorite shows. Please keep it going. I also revisited Mythbusters, and like I said, they haven't been gone very long, but they've already left such a gap. I was going back and watching some of my favorite episodes of that, like the toilet bomb episode and the ice cannon episode. So miss Jamie and Adam and the build team, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of them in the future. So we're still thinking about you folks, just so you know. Now, as far as new TV shows coming back, Penny Dreadful, as we discussed last week, started up again. And I'm already so excited to see what they have in store for this season. They've got a new antagonist coming into things. I won't say much about that, and some old ones that they were kind of setting up last season also back. Yes. And these are amazing characters, from literature that they've done really interesting things with. And I'm very happy to see what is going to happen. And there's some amazing female actresses, um, Eva Green. I'm sorry, so sorry. Eva Green and Billie Piper just blew us all out of the water the last couple seasons, and are continuing to do so already. So we're so happy that it's back. It's been a wait, but it was worth it. So far, it's been worth it. Good job there. And the last couple things I guess I have to talk about were actually a couple of documentaries. The first one, for those of you that were around in the 80s, or perhaps even have parents that were around in the 80s, might be familiar with hair band Twisted Sister. They still have, the sister fandom is still going strong, and the band is still going strong. Unfortunately, they lost a member, AJ, earlier this year to heart disease, but the remaining band members still tour, and this was a documentary called We Are Twisted Fucking Sister, appropriately enough. And it was an interesting documentary about, kind of the start of the band and their life and career so far up to this point. And it was produced by the SMFs, who, for those of you not in the know, is the Twisted Sister, fan club, and it is the sick motherfucking fans of Twisted Sister. And so the SMFs actually got this documentary produced, and so it is very much a documentary for fans by fans. I don't know, and it's very interesting for people like me that have loved this band since I was a wee snip of a thing. And actually, that band was one of the first things that really helped me traumatize my parents, because the first time I looked up at them and said I wanted to trade out my little pink Holly Hobby bedspread for Twisted Sister wallpaper, and my mom started clutching her chest and my dad went pale. Fond childhood memories, scary, scary rock and roll figures at the time, and interesting ones too. Very outspoken against censorship. Dee Snider famously went up against when they first started putting sticker warning labels on albums back in the day. A lot of you younger snips might not remember when those weren't around, but those of us that were there remember when that was not an issue. There were a lot of artists that a bunch of senators' wives got together, spouses got together, and formed, the PMRC, Parent Music Resource Center, and wanted the power to kind of arbitrarily put censorship stickers on things, which not always a great idea, in my opinion. A rating system is one thing, but this was kind of an arbitrary, if we don't like it, we can put a sticker on it sort of thing. And if you had a sticker back in the day, you didn't get sold. And sometimes that's still very much the case with, giants like Walmart. They're very reluctant to sell anything but censored music. So that was and still is an issue. And this band was right in the center of it. So if censorship is an issue you hold close to your heart, you don't know who Twisted Sister is, this might be something you want to look into, because they were one of the only targeted bands back in the day that stepped up to the plate. In fact, they were kind of the only one. Everybody else kind of just, Prince, was one of the targeted artists, and he spoke out against it. But Dee Snider was very outspoken and actually went to the Senate hearings and spoke. It was kind of an interesting incident, an interesting time, and they do talk about that a bit in the documentary. So might want to look into that. And my last What You Watchin' would be one. It's called Brand: The Second Coming. This is about a comedian turned revolutionary, Russell Brand. And it's a very interesting watch. No matter what you think about Russell Brand, I get that he can be a bit divisive for some people. His grandiosity can be a bit puzzling or off-putting for some. But he's really, this last few years, kind of walked away from a movie career and various other things to dedicate himself to speaking out for the common man, I guess. And say what you want about him, he seems dedicated to it. And this is a documentary looking at that transformation. And it was actually a very interesting piece of work. It was well paced, it was well put together, and it talked to a lot of different people of varying viewpoints. So it wasn't just a documentary that catered to one viewpoint. And it, Brand himself talks on it, and they also talk to a lot of political figures, pundits or talking heads to see what they feel about him and other celebrities, and just, your average Joe on the streets to see how they're affected by all this. So I believe Showtime was airing it, and hopefully that'll be streaming soon, I believe. So if you really are interested in the current political climate, that might be a good thing for you to look up and watch. All right. And a couple more things as far as what you watch, and these are just little internet videos, but it's been kind of a depressing couple weeks, so I think we could all use a little bit of fun. The first one, for you Harry Potter fans out there, a skydiving team actually took it upon themselves to jump out of a plane and play Quidditch in midair. I highly recommend it. It is, dare I say, magic. Oh, I know, it's an awful pun. I'll be leaving shortly. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. But it is an amazing video. And they do fantastic work. Definitely look up the Flying Quidditch, the actual Flying Quidditch team. That is a wonderful thing to do for just to cheer up your day. And of course, I mentioned in the comments I would be talking about Deadpool again, because that movie is just the gift that keeps on giving. They have done another satirical video. It's Deadpool's Deadpool video, where they're lampooning all the ED, erectile dysfunction commercials out there. And it is fantastic. Definitely, probably not safe for work, but when you get home, definitely look it up. Look it up on your phone. Just do yourself a favor. Go look it up. In fact, I'm going to stop talking now so you can go look it up right now. This has been the PGL Lobbycast, episode 375. Go have some Deadpool fun. We love you, and we'll be back next week.